I'm really glad to be here. I've been around in this place. It was very impressive, and I think we agree on everything. But I just give a short introduction to the people here because there are some health economics or from the insurance companies or journalists. So it may be a good idea to have a start for the interesting discussion we are going to have. So why do we need these programs? To make it very simple. If you change the front wheel on a car, it goes immediately. If you change the hip in a human being, it doesn't go immediately. So why is it different? That's a very simple, primitive question, but this is what it's all about. And you have to dissect down why these patients not become normal immediately after the operation. So that was a basis for constructing this fast track program or rapid recovery. First of all, you had to change the preoperative information so that relatives and patients know exactly what is going on. That means that everybody says the same thing. The patients are much more satisfied and they know what is going to happen. Then you have to change the stress response. I will not go into that today. This is a very basic mechanism of becoming ill after an operation and having risk of complications. The key point is really pain relief. So that must be optimized by the anesthesiologist in close collaboration with the surgeons and nurses. And then, and this is very important, you have to change your care, optimizing, utilizing the pain management for early mobilization and early feeding. I mean, in orthopedic surgery, feeding is not a main issue, but in abdominal surgery, where I'm from, this is very important. So this is a package, and it's evidence-based, and it has more than 20 components. So why are hip and knee operations interesting? For me, as a gastrointestinal surgeon, I think it's fascinating because there are many of them in the Western world. That means we have a nice surgical model to study on relevant problems. And that is also very interesting because the hospital stay is so variable between different places and different countries. In Denmark, we can register every patient in the country. So we did, about 8-9 years ago, we did a survey in hip and knee replacement, every patient in Denmark, and looked at the hospital stay. It was at that time 7 to 8 days. But the interesting thing was that in some high volume departments, hospital stay was 4 days, and in other departments it was 12 days. What was the difference? It was the same operation. So we analyzed that with the support of the Danish Health Board, and we characterized the departments with a short stay. We could see what happened. They had specialized units, make it much more easy to control the management. They had continuity. It's also easier when you only stay 4 days in hospital versus 12 days. But this is very important. These places, they had updated patient information and care principles. In those departments here, everything was old-fashioned, not supporting rapid recovery. They had well-defined discharge criteria so that the patients and the personnel knew what were the discharge criteria. Very important, very basic, but it is not happening. Multimodal opioid-sparing anesthesia. If you give too much morphine, you delay recovery. So again, this was proven that the fast departments, they did what they should do. The other ones, they did what they shouldn't do. Early mobilization, key point. The question was, do you need more personnel? No, it was not the case. And finally, there was higher patient satisfaction in about 700 patient survey with the rapid recovery program versus traditional care. So this shows what happened in a country, and that stimulated the progress here. I'm interested in really optimizing recovery. So we did a very detailed study on why are you still in hospital if you have an organized fast track program. So we did this and analyzed why are they not discharged. And 24 hours after the operation, 70% of the patients stayed in hospital. That means that 30% have gone home the day after, a hip and knee. Those who stayed in hospital, pain, dizziness, weakness were the problem, and also some organizational problems. So we know what to do to further improve. 48 hours post-operatively, 20% of the patients stayed in hospital. That means that 80% have gone home after 2 days, after a knee and hip replacement. The patients who still stayed in hospital, dizziness and weakness were the main factors. And we know this is related to loss of muscle function and loss of ability to keep your blood pressure normal when you are mobilized. So this type of study is the way forward to understand why does the human body respond different from the car. And therefore we can improve. I will focus on 2 small things. Rehabilitation. This is really important, especially in Germany, because you spend a lot of money on rehab. And to be provocative, I don't know what you get out of it on a national basis. I'm not saying that some people are not doing the right thing. The problem is that after a hip and knee replacement, we lose our muscle function. And we lose much more than after an abdominal operation. Because if you have a hip replacement, you lose 2 days after the operation, lose 30%. But a knee operation, you lose 80%, which also explain why the patients are dizzy and weak. So we have to find out what is the mechanism for this impairment. And now we move to the rehab. We know in normal people that strength exercise is the only way to really improve your muscle function. So thromboembolic complications, this is another area. It's just to sharpen your interest for this concept. So we know that the guidelines are saying you should give thromboembolic prophylaxis for 15 to 30 days after these operations. Cost a lot of money. All these studies have been with a very long hospital stay. If you stay in hospital a long time, you are partially immobilized. And immobilization is the most important factor leading to a risk of thromboembolic complications. What about implementing fast-track surgery? What is the process? It should be done. It cannot be discussed. It should be done. Read the literature. Know your own data. This is a key point. You have to know your own data. Compare it to the literature. Multidisciplinary collaboration between anesthesiologists, surgeons, nurses, physiotherapists. Monitoring your results. If you change, what happens? You have to look at your data. And then, very important, because we are different professions here, you save a lot of money. You have to share the benefits so that you can make further progress. If the administration takes all the money, as I have learned in the beginning, everybody get angry and you don't want to improve. You simply stop to improve. But if you share the economic benefits, it's a way forward all the time. So in Denmark, because of this multidisciplinary effort, and this may be relevant to the discussion in Germany, in about 2000, the hospital stay was 10 days in Denmark for hip and knee. Because of this multidisciplinary interaction, we were able to show that now it was down to 3-4 days, and in the centers we work together, which is about 40% of the Danish orthopedic surgeons, we are down to 2 days. And I don't think we should go further down. We can do it, but I don't think we should do. So to give you a few examples in the end of here, can every patient go through this? That's a common question. So in this multi-center collaboration, we had more than 3,000 consecutive patients. Nobody is excluded. 91% of the patients had a length of stay less than 4 days. They go home. They go home. They don't go to a rehab. So old patients, those with preoperative, cardiopulmonary disease, those living alone, those using a mobilization aid before the operation, it was only a very, very slight increased risk of prolonged hospital stay. That means that every patient can go through these programs and should. So you don't start to say we cannot do it. Then you are losing. So the last slide is really that there is no real discussion here. We have the facts. Hospital stay can be organized safely to be 2 to 4 days in all patients. There's very high patient satisfaction. This is important. It is safe, as I say. And there is enhanced recovery of healthcare problems, and morbidity, risk of complications is decreased. And these were the aim of fast-track surgery. Consequently, you save a lot of money, but that was not the primary aim of this. So you have a very special situation. You improve quality and you decrease cost. And think about it. Where else in health care do you have that specific situation that you save money and increase quality of care? So there's nothing to discuss, but we need to have a discussion. Thank you.